All right, so World Cup is upon us, and the ticket sales, as we began talking about last week, have not been very smooth. Is one way to put it.
Yeah. Now, granted, and I've generally been less critical than other people of FIFA on this point. Obviously, they have something that's in incredibly high demand, the World Cup. Yes, the ticket prices are high, but they are selling quite a lot of them. So are they too high? Well, I don't know about that.
The invisible hand of the free market in action.
I mean that's what prices are, right? They're signals. They're signals about desirability. Obviously, there's a fixed cost on these things. Obviously, and this is the part that I'm a little more curious about is the level of sales. Or obviously, we know certain games are going to be higher demand, certainly amongst the group stage games. Obviously, knockout stage games are going to be more valuable. Are going to be more in higher demand. I guess I know it's easy to sit here and say it's absurd that people are paying, what is it, $10,000 to get $20,000 to go see the final. On the other hand, if those tickets were cheaper, they would be gone, in a moment.
Well, of course.
And how many of those would then go to people who would then resell them for
that amount?
The same
yeah.
Exactly.
So
I'm sympathetic on the cost question, but I kind of understand also why it happens. So I don't feel like. But this one, FIFA's going to take heat on this one, and they're not going to get any defense from me on this. Apparently what has happened is that people they've been finally giving out the seats for tickets purchased. So I know my brother has told me the section in the row where we have our seats for Netherlands, Sweden here in Houston, which I'm very excited to see. And actually having seen the sections we're in, NRG's nice. It's big, but I feel like you're never super far away from the field anyway. Mm-hmm. Even the high up seats don't feel that far away, I've thought. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, I'm kind of excited about that. But apparently what people are seeing is that their seats are in sections, theoretically appear to be in sections that are not what they paid for. That basically they paid a price for, I guess, what was the tier 1 is supposed to be the closest, highest price.
Yeah.
They were buying a tier 1 ticket and getting a seat in what appears to be tier 2. Mm-hmm. And part of this is because they've been selling FIFA's been removing some of those tier 1 seats to give them for boxes or other special seats being given away. They're also apparently adding another tier of seats, which of course is even higher priced. This is this is not good.
I mean, specifically what people are saying. So you would buy, when the tickets were offered early on, you would buy a tier 1 seat, or you would be given the opportunity to buy a tier 1 seat. And tier 1, you would see on the map for the stadium which sections of seating would be included in tier 1, which other ones were tier 2, and then tier 3. And what they're saying is that, they're getting seats for a section that was not what was colored on the map. And FIFA is saying essentially, well, that was to give you a rough indication of what types of seats would be included. We didn't mean for you to think that you would be getting a seat in the sections that we specifically colored, telling you this is where they were. It's kind of indefensible.
I mean, this is not a terribly shocking move from an organization like FIFA. That's all.
I think, I don't know if it's the article you shared or something else that I'd read, but they actually did relabel the sections midway through. Also, it's like they don't have a leg to stand on with it. It's pretty bad.
But I mean, it does kind of go into who's really gonna go after them for it. I mean, that's the problem with a fan complaints. Fans will complain, and they should. Mm-hmm. But people are. I mean, as I said, I bought a ticket. I'm not giving it back. I know one who has is. So that's the line given somewhere along the line was because there's a lot of noise around the World Cup and funding for this and that, and concerns about security and other things and all of this. And, how is this World Cup going to be? And the World Cup's going to be fine. Why is the World Cup going to be fine? Because the World Cup is always fine. Because in the end, it's a sporting event. The games are usually, we're going to remember all the good ones, all the great goals, the big moments. the fun matchups, and we'll just kind of. Oh yeah, and then there was that other game that kind of wasn't a lot of fun. But remember the game? Remember that goal? That was awesome. Like that's kind of how this always goes. So FIFA kind of gets away with it. Why? Because they have the one thing that everybody really wants, which is the World Cup. As long as they have that, and they kind of have us over a barrel a little bit, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I mean, so I had my ticket purchasing experience this week. So, as mentioned last week, I tried getting into the last minute sales, and it was a complete mess. But after talking to you about it and realizing that the prices I'd seen were actually maybe more reasonable than they had appeared to be at first, I went back and saw, some of those same seats are still available at those same prices. Okay. It was the weirdest thing, though. You go to a site and say, okay, they're offering whatever it was, $500, $600 a seat in a particular section. You'd say, okay, I want 3 tickets. And you would go into that section and there would be no seats lit up. Like the section was lit up, but there were no seats that were available in that section, even though they said there were seats available in that section. And so I say, okay, well, look, whatever. Give me the 3 best seats you have in this tier. And it would say, okay. And then you'd go to add them to your cart. Oh, sorry, they're not available. But you let me pick 3. You didn't let me pick 4, but you let me pick 3 or 2 or 1, and none of those would result in any seats being offered. So on a technical level, their sales site is also just broken and not working the way it's intended to, regardless of whatever other soft failures there are in their decisions on the matter. But so ultimately, I ended up buying the tickets through StubHub, which was itself an interesting experience. So for one thing that I liked, and I don't remember if StubHub has always done this, maybe they have and I just didn't notice, but they're telling you the all-in price inclusive of all fees, which is good. Like I appreciate them being upfront about it. I do remember buying from them or others in the past that you would then get the fees tacked on afterwards and be like, what the heck, like hundreds of dollars of fees.
Yeah, that's a fairly recent shift, and I'm fairly certain, I don't want to say it was definitely enforced by a court decision or at least strongly encouraged by legal action. So yeah, I mean that is a relatively new change and not one they would have made without certain outside.
Well, sure, exactly, because they want to get you in the door at what you think is going to be a lower price, and you're like, I guess I'll just have to pay the fees. Yeah, so it is a consumer friendly change, and I applaud it. Regardless of what was required for it to be realized. But so I buy the tickets, and then I've bought on StubHub and SeatGeek and other like secondhand sites before. And usually, there's some handoff between you and the person selling them. And then StubHub sends you, typically it's like a PDF of the tickets or something like that, like something that you have some artifact in your digital hand, so to speak, that you can take with you to the match. Well, that's not what happened here. I was told that I would get an email soon with info about how to get the tickets myself now from FIFA. So what the email that I ended up getting had was, it says, okay, here is an email address we created for you that we registered with FIFA, that we had the person who sold the tickets transfer them to. So even though I already had a FIFA account from trying to buy the tickets myself, I had to create a new FIFA account with a made up email address. And once I created that account with all the rest of the information being my own, I was then able to accept the transfer. And as far as I know, I do have the tickets now. What I would like to do, and I am led to believe from their help documentation that I should be able to do, is to transfer them over to my own account, assuming that there are no fees associated with that. And I can't safely make that assumption, but hopefully that feature is made so that you can transfer to a friend or family member or something outside of resale. And no, FIFA doesn't get a fee because you're just transferring them, you're not selling them. But yeah, so when the dust settled, I ended up with tickets to a round of 32 match that is going to be played in Dallas. And I'm trying to look it up because I had sent a picture of the tickets. Well, not the tickets themselves, but it's going to be Group D versus Group G. Now, Group D is the United States, right?
Yes, actually, that's the.
So
and you'd be looking at the runner-up, and so the runner-up of Group D.
Right.
So it's July 3rd.
Yes, the July 3rd match, which worked out great because even though these are like afternoon matches, that's a holiday. I'm off from work, so yeah.
Well, right, and it's also you're indoors in Dallas in July.
Indoors in Dallas, and yeah.
Well, Arlington. Let's be honest. Yeah. So that is the second place team from Group D against the second place team from Group G. Now you're correct. Right. D is the U.S. group, which, by the way, I mean, now that Turkey's in there, the U.S. could very well finish in second. You may be headed to a U.S. game, which would be pretty cool for you.
Definitely.
Congrats. Obviously, I hope that doesn't happen
because you want to see.
I'd rather they win their group, not
or is it because Drew? I think Drew was able to see the round of 32 match with Team USA if they finish first. Right?
I mean, I believe he has an opportunity at a ticket. We'll see about that. The Group G, by the way, is Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand.
Right. So I might see Trossard if Belgium finishes second. Yeah.
I would not expect that. I'm
No.
not going to say Belgium's going to walk that group, but Belgium is by far the best team in that group.
Okay.
Egypt, I think, is probably your most likely, although Egypt, I think, is... Egypt is one of the strongest teams in Africa in continental competition, but they have struggled mightily. They've won the Cup of Nations 7 times, but they've struggled mightily to get to the World Cup. And I don't believe they've won a game in their 2 previous appearances.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yes, they had. They went to Italia 90, had 2 draws and a loss, and then 3 losses in Russia 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So. It would, but that group with Iran, obviously Iran's team is kind of an interesting mystery on its own. And then of course, New Zealand, who, I mean, I hope they have a really fun time in their games. So.
Yeah. So okay. So I'm not going to hold my breath for Trossard, but
no,
it's a remote possibility.
Yeah. My guess is just looking through that. I mean, I feel like my guess right now is Egypt. But then obviously it depends kind of on Group D. I'm hesitant to. I mean, it's an easy pick to say the U.S. would finish in second in that group, which I don't think is unfair. Behind Turkey, but I obviously fingers crossed that doesn't happen. I think they could easily win that group. I mean, there's a world where they go 0-3. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they will advance, but it'd be pretty catastrophic.
So, as far as hoping for them to finish first, is that because they'll play a third place team in the round of 32 and they're more likely to advance?
Well, I just want them to finish in first because I just want them to keep winning games. That's
for their mentality, right?
Or just for actually winning games. Like, winning is fun. Winning is more fun than losing. This is not. I have no expectations, to be honest, of seeing the U.S. play in live in the World Cup. Now, I would, of course, love that, but I don't expect it. So, there's no personal angle where I could be, there's no real angle where I could be like, oh, this would be better for me if it happened. No. I just want them to win because I just want them to win.
Yeah. I mean, just for the heck of it, I mean, how do you think they stack up if they did finish second in their group and were to play against, let's say Belgium is I guess so you think Egypt is the most likely to be number 2?
I feel like Egypt or Iran.
So how do you think Team USA, in the form that you've seen with the players who they'll have available, including Tyler Adams, who we saw play Arsenal this weekend, how do you think that they might do against an Egypt or an Iran?
I think they could beat them. They beat Iran 4 years ago to get out of the group in Qatar. Just by FIFA rankings, we should say Iran is ranked 20th in the world. Egypt is ranked 34th.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
US, yeah. So I both of them are pretty solid, and I think both of them would represent. I think we're granted. I'm looking at the FIFA rankings. This was the one from November, so they were a little different, but not really right now, because this also is the US as being 14th, which I feel is generous. I think they're pretty. I think they're pretty close. I think it would be I think they'd be a very good game. I think is the best way to.
Yeah. It should be fun. The seats we got are decent. They're like the top section of seating, but relatively central. We're kind of like maybe a third of the way in from the goal line. So yeah, it's should be a good time. Definitely looking forward to it. So. Meanwhile, apparently the referees have been allocated for the World Cup.
Yes, the announcements have been made. World Cup does takes it upon themselves to bring in referees from every confederation.
Okay.
So there are a handful of referees. There is going to be an all-female refereeing crew led by Tori Penso, who referees in MLS, as with 2 American assistants, Catherine Nesbitt and Brooke Mayo. More interesting for us, we are still technically an Arsenal podcast. There are 2 Premier League referees who are making their way to who will be coming. Michael Oliver, who oversaw Saturday's game against Bournemouth, and then also Anthony Taylor. Neither of which terribly surprises me, even if I'm not terribly thrilled by either of those prospects. And I believe they said there's another one. Yes, Jared Gillett will also be there, but as a VAR assistant.
Now, you mentioned the all-female refereeing crew. That leads me to a broader question. Do they generally keep entire refereeing crews together? I mean, I could see logistically, just for speaking the same native language as each other to ease communication, that might make sense if they're from the same country or at least the same region or something.
Yes, and you'll see it, for example, when we're watch the Champions League. Our referees will be all from. Well, the entire refereeing crew will all be from the same country. It's for their for the sake of their communication.
Sure.
So it will be a crew that has been selected.
Okay, cool, interesting.